So you're going to sit down and get in your trouble. I feel...
For 13 years, why haven't we done a lot of this already? It's taken too long. So I don't
You know, I feel so guilty interrupting something like that when the minutes are so enjoyable. But Sam, follow that.
Well, that's an easy way. I totally agree with what Nigel said. To talk about UKIP government from here, when we got a bit more than 3% of the vote in the last general election, is obviously fantasy. But obviously, if you don't aim for the moon, you don't at the top of the mountain. And so let's try and think about all this. It is indeed the 2014 European election which is going to be our next major test. I'm all in favour of people trying very hard, doing everything they can in local elections, of course. And by the way, I also believe in the centre helping them if they can, which is something that hasn't happened in the last few years. But the key objective is to be the largest party in 2014. We can do that. It does need organisation. And can I just say that if I'm leader and you're a branch chairman in this room, you will receive a letter from me. All right? You will receive a letter from me. Don't worry about that. Thank you.
Next question from Elizabeth Wallace in Anvil and South Downs. Quite a long question. I will chop out the pan-European issue, which we've already covered to an extent, because the candidates only have a minute to go through. Which candidate is prepared to implement the proposals passed at conference, NEC, one representative per region, and the formation of shadow spokesman/cabinet? Nigel Farage.
Well, first things first, the NEC. The idea that the NEC should have regional representation, that in effect will become a delegated NEC. I don't think that is a very good idea, and I'll tell you why. Because the North East, with 500 members, would have one person on the NEC. The South East, with nearly 4,000 members, quite rightly would say, look, this is ridiculous. If you've got one member for the North East, we need 2 or 3 members. And you finish up with an NEC that would be over 20 people, and therefore I think would be too big and unmanageable, and I think it's better to pick the NEC on their CVs and to pick the NEC on ability and talent. That's how I feel about it. I do recognise that voices need to be heard. One of these Malcolm Pearsons that was getting going was a regular get-together with a regional chairman who would come to London for lunch. As far as shadow cabinet is concerned, again, I wouldn't use the phrase shadow cabinet, but we need to develop spokesmen, people who are expert in their areas, and I'm hopeful that whatever happens in this leadership campaign, there'll be people on this panel who will become senior spokesmen for this party.
Yes, again, I'll reiterate the fact that we do need spokesmen, we need people of confidence, we need people with ambition and drive. I'm slightly inclined to disagree with our NEC group being of a small nature. I think that the NEC should be quite large, and the more hands on board, the better it is for us. We're fast running out of time. There is so much work that has to be done within this party, and the sooner we can all come to a proper agreement amongst ourselves, from the top right down, then I think we're really going places. Everyone I can see in here today is full of enthusiasm. You've all taken the trouble to get up this morning and come here because you care, and you want to hear real positive arguments with regards to our party's future. So I hope I haven't disappointed you, or any of the guys here haven't disappointed you today, or any of my colleagues. But hey, let's get going, let's get cracking, let's move on, let's come to a positive conclusion and get it on.
I think the views of the party members come first here. If we're supposed to be a freedom and democracy, surely then we must respect the democratic views of the party membership. There may be, of course, some injustice in having one member of the NEC from the north-east and one from the south-east. Well, perhaps there can be a pragmatic compromise and there are 2 from the south-east. I think the important thing is that the views of the party membership be respected. Of course, what it's all about is the extent to which party leader controls the NEC. We know that's what it's all about. Can I just say before I finish, I hope I'm a reasonable man. I hope I can accept when people disagree with me, that's fine, we can go on, discuss it again a day or two later. I don't mind having disagreements with people. I respect people who disagree with me. Thank you.
I've already touched on the first point, which is to have an NEC committee of the UK, maybe chaired by Councillor Henry Riley from Northern Ireland, because we're still a unionist party. But I think that is a great vehicle to feed feedback from you directly to the NEC and to invite along people from it to address the full NEC. I think that's the way to go. I think Nigel's pointed out some of the practical difficulties, and I think that is a valid point. Shadow spokesman, well, I've answered your prayers. Here's what I prepared earlier. It's on there. That would be Peter. And a shadow cabinet of 16 policy and media spokesmen. I'm a little nervous of the phrase, but you've asked for this, and I am a listening kind of guy. So I'm calling it shadow cabinet here. But I do think this is right. Every time I open the paper, I get frustrated. We have the policies now, but we have these policy spokesmen backed properly by media resources and research resources, and that is about achievement, that's about professionalising. They can be much more effective, and that will really change the whole game, and that's the way we need to go.
Okay, and we'll take one final question now. I'm going to have to change it slightly. It's from Bernard Smith in Chichester, and we do need to make sure that all the questions can be asked in a way that all of the candidates can answer. But the question should be a fairly simple yes or no question. Can all the candidates assure us that if elected, they would not resign to fight a general election? Winston.
Well, a short while ago, when I joined the party and before I put my name forward for the last leadership, unfortunately I was still leader of another small party that I engaged in, so I was disqualified. Now I can assure you, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be around for a very long time. They said I wouldn't run if I didn't get my own way, but hey, I joined this party because I believed in what certain people within this party were doing. I want to thank Nigel Farage and also Gerard Batten, because they're the people who encouraged me and who I today am grateful to. Now, I'll be around for a very long time, I can assure you that. I have a message, I am on a mission. There are people who are disaffected within society, disenfranchised and disengaged, and I represent those people.
Am I going to stand down to fight a general election? No. I am currently I fought the Forest Dean election. I enjoyed it very much. I'm not going to have so much fun. I can, for the next general election, I'm going to also be the Forest Dean. I'm going to have lots of fun again and get lots more votes. Yes. And I'm certainly going to remain leader while that's going on. I look forward to it. Thank you.
Simple answer, no, of course not. No, I wouldn't resign. That's irresponsible. I'm South Suffolk. We got 50% increase in our votes last time. I would loyally go down that route. I think it's important that you keep same face as much as possible in all these seats. I think what we need is a safe pair of hands, a stable leadership. We've had enough resignations, and the media are on the danger of turning it into a joke. We've got to have someone who's going to last 4 years. Thank you.
Having led the party from low ebb to a dramatic success in 2009, coming second across the United Kingdom in the European election and beating the governing Labour Party of the day, I thought the opportunity of taking on John Bercow in Buckingham was our chance, our only hope in the country, beginning in Westminster, so I took the risk. And I do take risks. I am a gambler. And it ended in tears, didn't it? But that's life. Unless you do things in life, you never get anything right, you never get anything wrong. It didn't work, and I'm sorry that Lord Pearson didn't enjoy the job and only stayed there for a year.